Good morning. It is February 5th, 7:01 a.m. And we're going to get started on cutting the grass this morning. Hopefully the weather kind of holds up for a bit and we don't get too much snow on the ground, and hopefully it doesn't stick to the ground, so we can keep cutting grass. If it does end up sticking to the ground, we can always just start collecting up the grass that we have on the ground already. I already checked the silage pit this morning. It's sitting at what was it sitting at? It's sitting at 70%. Oh, I forgot to change the time scale back. There we go. Usually have the time scale set to 0.5 when I go to get the software ready to start recording and everything like that, so I don't waste too much time on making sure that it is recording, especially since I lost a whole day a week or so back. Ever since that happened, I've been making sure to basically double and triple check everything before starting. So we're just cutting all this grass down over here. We're gonna stop at the pathway. We'll leave the pathway as is, except for the side, obviously. And we'll leave the section between the path and the rock there behind us. There, we can actually look back at it. That whole section we can leave, and then that whole section on the hill we're going to leave that too. So we have something in March to cut down, and it should be quite a bit that we get from that. We're just going to run along the edge here. Sure, we're good up to this point. Basically, any grass aside from this section that we're cutting down, we're just going to leave to grow. So that way in March we have something that we can cut down and throw into the silage bunker. Now once the smaller silage bunker is completely done fermenting, we're obviously going to sell that silage, but we're also going to sell the silage bunker itself, because we won't need it. We won't need a smaller one. If anything, it'd probably be a better idea to set up a second a second large one right next to the other large one, so at least the side spill will go into the next one over. But I'm not really sure, because you can see it snapping next to the bunker. The new bunker will snap next to the old one. Now I don't know if that means not only do you have the first one, but then the space between the two bunkers also counts as a bunker as well. That might be something to think about. But I also don't know yet if we're going to be doing some other animals that might require grass aside from just selling the grass as silage. We could try to get into sheep. They take about 8 months. Yeah, they take 8 months to mature, and then they start reproducing more sheep, which I think is a 6-month gestation period, but I'm not 100% on that. But I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure if we're actually going to bother with sheep. We might just go to pigs eventually. Pigs kind of grow and reproduce pretty quick. So that might be an idea. I mean, I really haven't figured out like any sort of productions that we can do yet. There's really not many we can do at this stage, obviously. So that might just be something later on down the line, obviously. Something we're gonna have to think about a lot later. I mean, we couldn't even afford a production building if we wanted it. So we're just gonna keep cutting this grass. Get what we can. Load it into that bunker. Get it fermenting. So hopefully by maybe about mid-March it'll be fermented and ready to be sold. Now we're not going to get as much for it in March because the price dips. But it'll be something that can be sold because we're going to need quite a few pieces of machinery. We're going to need the planter to plant the sunflowers. We've already figured out that the stone picker's kind of out of the question until later, at least for this first harvest go around. Fertilizer kind of out of the question too. I don't see us getting that thing anytime soon. So we're just going to focus on the things we can get. And I wanted to avoid leasing equipment, so that's why we're not doing that. And we haven't taken out any loans yet. If it comes right down to it that there's just like no way to make the money required, we will take out a loan enough to be able to harvest at least. And we'll just have to work on paying off that loan. But by the time it's harvest time, we'll know by then. And one thing to keep in mind too is where are we going to store the grain? How are we going to transport it? Or not the grain, but the sunflower seeds. How are we going to transport it? These are all things we got to figure out once we get there. Hopefully there's enough money for those pieces of equipment. And again, if it looks like it's not going to happen, I'll just bite the bullet and take out that loan. Just to keep the farm going, pretty much. So this grass section's almost done. And we can windrow it up, collect it up in the forage wagon, and get it put into the bunker. Flatten it out, compact it down, and then we got to think about going and getting the other grass out in the top right corner of our plot. We need to go get that collected up as well. See it out there just sitting. All things we need to think about here. It's just going to take a bit of time to build up. And a couple things we still need to do too, is still have that new field to plow over there on the hill. Still have that thing to plow. Gotta get that all nice and set up. That's gonna take a bit of time. to do. You gotta keep an eye on the greenhouses, making sure they're continually going. Those are a little bit easier to handle because it's just kind of a set it and forget it type of thing, where you throw water in it and that's it. You just wait. Now when we start getting a bunch of pallets, we'll also have to buy the pallet forks for the skid steer. So we can basically take the skid steer out of retirement. Kinda has no use for us right now until we start getting full pallets of goods to sell. And the other thing too is we might even think about chopping down some more trees behind the house there, just to get a little bit of influx of cash. Maybe not the trees closest to the house, but kind of running along the line of the chicken pasture, or the two chicken pastures, because we might just try to get another chicken pasture set up. And that one can be just full of chickens. Like we could just fill it with chickens instead of waiting for new ones. I think the egg production would probably be better if we just had them full of chickens anyway, so it might be a thing to think about. Selling chickens is kind of doesn't seem like it's going to be profitable. I mean, I guess we'll find out. But I only plan to sell the chickens that I have right now once basically the new ones that they're going to have next month come of age at 6 months. And then when those ones are about to have new chickens, when those ones are about to produce offspring, then we'll sell the older ones and see how much we can get from selling them. Now, there's no way to transport chickens, so you always have to pay a transport fee for them, which is a little unfortunate, but oh, I don't know what, I forgot to lower the blade. I thought I hit the button. But we can see how much money we get off of, because we spent, what was it, $55 per chicken to buy those. And I don't think, I think for transporting chickens to sell them from your pastures, or just animals in any sort of animal, the transportation fee is not taken for each animal, it's taken once overall. At least that's what it looked like in a game I was playing earlier. So I guess we'll find out how that works, but not for a few months, you know, not for a while now. You know, it's gonna be a while before that happens. I mean, one way to check it would be to go to, you know, sell the chickens we have now, just to see what it does for the transportation fee. We can find out that way, which I think we'll probably do here once we're done cutting down this grass. So it's this grass and the other grass on the top right section of the plot is what's going into the silage pit there. If we have any chaff left over that just doesn't want to cooperate and sit in the bunker silo, we'll just leave it off to the side for later. You know, for the next time we harvest grass, just like we did last time. It looks like it's starting to snow now, so hopefully that snow doesn't blanket the ground. That would be great. These patches of grass are kind of weird, just because it's trying to Trying to chop it all in a line doesn't really work out too well. We're just about done with this grass here. We can go and put away the lawnmower. And then after I do that, we can grab the windrower with the tractor and start cleaning this all up. Okay, last bit of grass. Okay. So I'll just go ahead and go put this away and windrow up this grass and start collecting it. Alright, we're just about done here. Actually took a little bit of time doing that. This windrower is quite small. That's okay. It suits our purposes just fine for now. Our fields aren't, you know, exorbitantly big or anything, so... So after we're done windrowing this, probably just going to go ahead and windrow that section too. Just to get it all nice and ready, nice and tidy. Ready to be picked up and dumped into the silage pit, or the bunker silo, whatever you want to call it. This one's going to be a little close to the other one. Alright, just about finished here. Okay, we can move on to this section. This one shouldn't be too hard. It's pretty straight on there. You know, pretty straightforward, you know, rectangular shape, so you won't have to put really any crazy turns or anything in it to be able to keep up with where the grass is. We're just gonna do the outside sections first, I think. Okay. Upper and lowers. And we'll get on the rest of it. There's quite a bit of land you start with. I don't know how many acres you get with each, I don't know what the acreage is for each plot. I mean, they're all equally sized. Equally sized rectangles. But I'm not sure about the acreage. Not 100% sure about that. Actually, I have no idea how big this map is. I don't think I've ever really looked up the stats of it. As far as size of the map itself, fairly large though. Fairly large. Okay, so that's all good right there. Let's do the north portion. Now we're basically just framing it out. I think there's a term for this that farmers use, but I'm not sure what the term is. I think it's making a headland. But I'm not really 100% on that. I think I've heard that before from somewhere. Okay, now we're going to have to go all the way down to the south portion and drive up to be able to create this properly. Let's see, what are we looking at right now? 2:01 in the afternoon, or 14:01 in the afternoon. 2:01. Well, it looks like there is going to be kind of a turn in it. I mean, I guess I could have just went straight on. I'll do that when I come back down. See, I think a couple of these bits of grass are lost because they went over into the neighboring plot, so we're not going to be able to pick those up, I think. I mean, we could try, but it's not like it's a lot. It's just a small amount. So now we just have to go row after row until it's finished. And I'll bring you back once we go and grab the forage harvester. Or not the forage harvester, but the forage wagon. Now we can go grab the forage wagon. Oh. Hey now. I missed a stump. We'll have to grind that stump out. Don't want that catching the lawnmower. Okay, so we're gonna have to move a few pieces of equipment. This vehicle shelter's starting to get a little cramped. We're not gonna need the windrower for a little bit, so why don't we just go ahead and park that in the back. Oh, pull forward. There you go. Alright, let's hop out of the tractor. Oh. We won't need the lawnmower for a bit, I don't think, so let's go ahead and park that kind of near the windrower. There we go. And just go ahead and jump back in the tractor, back up, grab the forage wagon, and pick up all that grass that we just got finished cutting and windrowing. Okay, and we'll see how much we get from all this. Should be quite a bit. 2 decently sized sections, maybe a wagon and a half's worth, or maybe not. I mean, they weren't super big sections or anything, but you know, I guess we'll find out here. Just want to make sure we pick it all up. There's that little bit right there on the next to the rock. I'll have to try and figure out a way to squeeze in there and grab it. Let's see if we can do that right now. Coming from this side. Hopefully it doesn't get stuck on the rock. There we go. Tidy up the yard. Looking pretty good so far as fill level is concerned. Hopefully we have enough time to dump all this and compact it down and try to get as much situated in the bunker silo as possible. Should have enough time. We still have another 4 in-game hours. A little less than that, but that should be enough time to pick up all this. If not, we'll just have to wait till tomorrow morning to finish it up. Oscar is not amused. I am not amused. Okay. 3 more rows to go. Well, 2 rows and a bit to go on this side. So we might get to about maybe 60% over here. Trying to judge how much grass is left, how much the fill level will be is a little difficult, but that's really not too big of a problem. And a little over 60%, eh? Probably like maybe 62, 63%, I'd say. That's quite a bit. Probably about 22,000 liters, maybe. Throw the lights on. It's getting a little dark. See if we can get this little bit here. Yes. Okay, we were able to get that little amount that was on the outside. Now to see if we can get this bit. I don't know. It's a little close. There we go. Good. Glad we were able to clean up those little bits of grass. I don't really like leaving small amounts like that unless they're about to get, you know, plowed under or cultivated into the land itself. I like leaving that stuff just lying around. Okay. Yes, I know we don't have access to that land. Alright, just about full here. Whoa! A little bit of rock climbing there. Okay, I think it may be like another row and a half is probably how much we can fit in this. Before we have to go dump it. Or maybe not. I mean, this will probably fill it up actually. Or maybe it won't. Oh, it's kind of hard to judge here. Yeah, it'll fill it up. Okay. So just about a full row's worth filled it up. Let's get this over to the bunker silo. Dump it down. Alright, we'll see how much. Oh yeah, we're losing it out the side there. It's not good. But it's just how these ones work specifically, I guess. Which kind of stinks. Kind of makes me wish I had the other ones. But the other ones are really expensive, so it's not going to happen. so what are we looking at? About 40,000 is the fill level currently. Alright, let's go grab the rest before it gets too dark here. And then we'll compact what we have. Probably should have compacted it right now. At least get it a little flatter. I may regret not doing it here in a bit. Let's get this little spot first and then flip back around and then go up and down the rows again until we're done. I got, what is that, 4 or 5 more rows to go. Not too much left. See how much we end with. Carefully now. Get this bunker silo filled. This would be some okay money coming from this. We're gonna lose a little bit of money because we're gonna be selling it during the not so high demand time. Won't be too low, I don't think. March is still okay, I believe, for silage. Okay. So looks like about a little over 5,000 left over here. Yeah. All right, we'll go and dump this. Then we'll start compacting it. Probably should have bought a wheel weight, or not a wheel weight, but just a weight in general for the tractor. Alright, where is... Oh, there it is. Almost passed it. Yeah, this is going to be kind of rough driving over this thing. Or it's just not going to happen at all. Oh yeah. Trying to drive over that hill was not going well. That hill of chaff. Let's drive over it a few times. Get it squashed down. There we go. Now we're losing quite a bit along the sides here. I'll try and remedy that a little later. Alright. Let's see, can we get out of here? Alright. Let's go put this away. For now. Don't really want to leave it out in the open, but I also don't really want to have to park it in there right now, because it's getting a little tight in there for all the equipment. And we don't really have another shed we can put it in. Okay, there we go. Yeah, keep backing up like this, and then let it kind of swing back around past the stump grinder. There we go. Alright, now we just need to drive over it until it's at 100%. Now, I don't want to go too fast here, so probably about, yeah, probably go on low here. So we want to try and flatten it out. Oh yeah. Gonna have a bit of an issue getting over that hill chaff. Got a pretty decent amount in here. Now, all that on the side too. I want to try and get all that back in. Hopefully this big hill right here can get crushed down some, compacted down a bit. Want it to get to 100%, so that way when we go to dump the excess back on top, it's at least flat, and hopefully it doesn't run along the sides too much again. So don't want to have to keep trying to do this. We need it blanketed, so that way it can start fermenting right away. And honestly, thinking about it now, if we were to let it, okay, so if we were to just grab the excess chaff off the sides and then maybe throw it into the smaller bunker silo there, perhaps that would work a bit better, you know, ferment a little bit more at the same time as this. About at 80% compaction. Don't know how much more back and forth we got to do here to compact it to 100%, but we're getting close. So this thing really only comfortably held 10,000 more than the other bunker size. It's really not that much. I'm almost thinking maybe we should have just repositioned and put two smalls, or two mediums rather. This is the large, the one we have right now. Over there is a medium. So I'm almost thinking two mediums would have been a better idea, but kind of can't really change that now. We'll see what we can fit after we pick up the excess tomorrow. At 42,000 fill level. So still, you know, still a respectable amount. I think we should be able to fit a little bit more in here. And I think when we go to pick up the excess and move it back and forth, we're just going to do this, just try and stay as centered as possible and just drive back and forth in a line and try to avoid going all the way to the edges. It's time for bed. I kind of want to just get this done though, but I think we'll just leave this last 4 or 5% for tomorrow. We also need to go to the shop and fill up with gas. So we'll just go ahead and go forward one more time and call it a night there. Okay. Park up. Let's see. Yeah, it spilled all along the side. We're at 97%, 42,349. So we ended at. This one's at 72% right now, so that should be good here soon-ish. We still need 28% in that one, so it's probably going to be another 14 days. Now, I don't know when I blanketed that silo, but yeah, it takes a while to ferment. I don't know if that is also dependent on how much chaff you're trying to ferment. Maybe it is. Maybe that's why it's taken a while. It is over 30,000 in there. But we'll have to find out when it finally turns into silage that we can sell. But yeah, that is going to do it for today, everybody. Thanks for stopping by the homestead, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Until then, have a great night, everyone.